Hello and welcome back to another episode of The Groom's Perspective with your hosts Martha Haring and Katie Mosdale. We're opening the stable door and delving into the highs and lows of the eventing world via Spotify, Apple and all good podcasting platforms. For the video edition, please visit The Groom's Perspective via YouTube or say hello back on our Instagram. But for now, here's this week's episode. Hello and welcome back to A Groom's Perspective. We're at episode 4 now.
Yeah.
Still going.
Still going. We've got this far.
We haven't given up just yet.
No.
Even when we've wanted to. And today we thought we would sit down and have a chat about we're actually going eventing together for the first time.
Next weekend.
Yeah. With our two rogue,
Youngsters.
naughty young horses. And for some reason, Jan thinks it's a good idea to let us both go out and have a party.
Yeah, try not to embarrass ourselves too much.
So we're quite nervous.
Yeah, very. So we're heading to Osberton. We've got both of them in the 100. Mm-hmm. It's my horse's first 100 and my first one in a long time. And we're going to see how it goes, but he's only done 190 this season. So, yeah.
Fine.
Well, I know you were going, so I thought, Tommy can go in the 100. Like, he'll be
I want to go
fine.
to Osberton.
I want to go to Osberton, so that's what's happening.
Yeah.
So Tommy's going, and then you're taking...
I'm taking Ozzy, who has done a few hundreds now and is quite established at the level. He just can be a funny little character.
Yeah, especially because they're like best friends as well. So
yeah.
I do worry,
and I think we're going to have quite close dressage. Like I'm already having nightmares of like me in one arena and you in the next arena, and the two of them are like whinnying to each other.
No, yeah.
And I mean, it's probably our own fault.
Oh yeah,
because they go hacking together all
they
the
do
time.
Everything together.
And we're like, oh, they're best friends.
They're even stabled next to each other.
And Ozzy did jump out of his field to jump in with Tommy.
Mm.
So hopefully he won't be jumping out of his dressage arena to jump in with Tommy, but I can't guarantee anything.
No, it would be funny either way. So.
So we thought we would sit down and have a chat about our best, worst, all fun and games eventing experiences. But also it was an opportunity to say that we're quite excited because this is the first episode that we're doing with the support of Henry James Saddlery. So they are both going to be looking apart at Osberton in their nice bridles. So at least if it goes disastrously wrong,
they're going to look nice.
They're going to look nice.
Yeah, very grateful to have, Henry James on board with us, and they're, supporting what we're doing, which is a lovely confidence boost that we've got a brand that we really, really respect and love, want to be part of this journey with us.
So yeah, exciting. So why don't you go for your... Tell everyone about your first ever event.
First ever event, okay. So it was unaffiliated, it was Pony Club, but it was eventing. So I was 8, I think. And it was like a qualifier for like the regional, you got the area, and I was area 9 because I was in Stroud Pony Club at the time. So it was a qualifier. It was like I can't remember what it's called now. I haven't done it so long. It was an area competition, you could say. And I was on my really cheeky 12-2 pony, and he was an absolute bugger. But we had brought him from a family that had already had him in the pony club. So everyone knew the pony was really capable. I was only 8 and I got put on this pony. And so they were like, the lady that was running the teams was like, yeah, Martha, you're in. I think it was probably 70 or 80. I don't know. Yeah. Pretty big.
To be fair, 8 years old.
I know. I think it all went downhill. I was peaking at 8. So did my dressage test. Yeah, really good mark. Probably leading. Clear show jumping. Leading going into cross country. I had no idea I was leading. And he was so naughty. Like we've still got him, but he was absolutely so naughty. And went into the cross country, got to fence 5, which was a brick wall, jumping out of the field, and he stopped, and I fell off onto the brick wall, and I just see the lady, her name was Helena, and she ran the teams, running over to me. The horse was stood eating, like he didn't care. She picked me up, she put me back on the pony, and I was like, no, don't put me back on. She put me on, and we went again. He cleared it the second time, carried on round, and then we got halfway around the course, Again, he stopped, I fell off. Someone else puts me back on the pony and we carry on. And then we're getting to the end of the course. And because I've fallen off so many times, like the pony behind us catching me up.
Yeah.
So my pony, Freddie, absolutely legs it, like just at careers straight home. Like I'm still steering, so we're still getting to the fences. And the last fence was this massive, it felt like a massive hedge. And my mum was waiting the other side of it, and I just remember screaming as I'm going over this hedge. I was like, "Mummy!" I'm getting jumped off. Like he's absolutely launched over this hedge. I flew like I've never had that much airtime in my life. I flew, hit the ground, and he buggers off to the lorry park. And that was my first event. And I don't know why I decided to carry on, because it was absolutely traumatic.
Yeah.
So I don't think we probably didn't qualify. I definitely
didn't get to the nationals that year.
No. So naughty, but like that was when the rules were that you could fall off and get put back on.
Yeah.
I mean, for health and safety now, I probably should have been in the ambulance, like checked over
Concussion
for
3
concussion.
times.
But no, I get put back on and sent round.
A
But
competitive pony club mum's like, get back on.
get on that horse. Like, we spent a lot of money to be here.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolute naughty pony. There's no need for him to be doing that, but
No.
there we go. So yeah, anyway, was your
To be
first
honest,
event
it
any
sounds
better?
pretty similar.
Oh God.
So I definitely wasn't leading the dressage.
Oh.
I had a little, it was probably a 40 pound, I would have been about 10, 11. And we went to Breckenborough, which is like a horse trials now, but this was before they started doing BE, and they ran unaffiliated. And I was in the 75 centimetres, and my pony really didn't go on the bit in the dressage. I did actually do a few BE events with him. I don't think he ever went sub 40. He would literally trotted around with his head like looking up to the stars. And he also party trick was to bugger off in the canter. So he did just do an extra lap. So we got through the dressage, and then I did fall off in the show jumping. But again, no worries, get back on, go and have fun cross country. And I'd walk the course, and about fence 7 or 8, there was a chicaner. I mean, who's putting chicaners in 75 centimetre courses?
Was it Pony Club?
I think it probably was.
Probably Pony Club.
And I remember walking it thinking, I am not jumping that. I was terrified. And my mum, who was probably even more terrified than I was at the time, she was like, darling, if there's anything you don't want to do, just go past it. I'm not a competitive parent thing. I was like, darling, honestly, just go past it. So I set off cross country, like drip white thing, his thing. But he was a cool little jumping pony, and he was great. But I thought, I'm not jumping that chicaner. So I went straight past it. And I actually remember the fence judge starts like waving their arms and was like, excuse me, you've missed fence 9. And I was like turning around and I was like, I know.
Let me carry on.
So I just kept going and had a great time.
Yeah, was it okay apart from that?
Yeah, so I think technically I was eliminated in the show jumping and the cross country. But apart from that, I mean, I got the bug. Here we are.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, such a positive first experience.
Hit the floor a couple of times and I was like, this is my sport.
This is for me. Get me down. I'm ready.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah, so that was my first event with my dear Jackson, he was called.
Oh,
yeah.
He sounds so sweet.
He was horrible.
Did you keep him?
Yeah, I had him for a few years, and then we sold him to a triathlon home, which was actually perfect for him because
just cross country.
Yeah, he's dressage. I did like 3 90s on him, 3 or 4 90s, and we went double clear every time. This was a couple of years down the line, I should add. But yeah, dressage was not for him.
No.
But yeah, so I guess in contrast, what's your best eventing memory?
My best eventing memory. Well, there's a lot. I've always done really well.
My best is watching others do it well.
No, I joke. It doesn't always go to plan. And like on paper, I mean, I have not ever had like a really good result on paper, you could say. But my best event was GATCAM, the Festival of British Eventing in 2022, which is when it last ran, actually.
Yeah.
So at this time I was based with a rider. I had my horse there. This was Jeannie. And I really was trying that season to qualify for the Corinthian Cup. And I think I was like one double clear short. Like I was nearly there, but I wasn't going to get there. And anyway, one night I go on the entries because I do spend a lot of time on the British Eventing website. So looking at the fixtures, I went on the entries and I was like, let me just see if I've qualified. And they had, they were running an open novice, which like they hadn't really announced. And I was like, oh my God, I can go. Like I can go in the open novice. So I think I cried.
Oh, was this the same? This was at the same time as the
Yeah, so they were running it the same same day. It was the same course. Like everything was the same, apart from the dressage was different.
Yeah.
And I was like, I literally burst into tears. I was like, I can go to Gatcombe, yay! Like, so I entered because it was always a massive dream of mine to compete there.
Yeah.
It's like our most local event. It's 10 minutes up the road, and I used to go with Pony Club and School Collect. So the dressage, we'd be sat in our hat and boots and competition gear, like waiting at the side to collect the dressage scores from the judges, you know, and we'd get our photos of Harry Mead in the warm-up, like we'd all line up for photos with these riders. So it was massive dream of mine to compete there because I'd been going every year since I could remember and always volunteered there. Basically, me and my sister one year were doing the like crossing strings, did that a couple of times, fence judged, did everything but ride there. So when I got the chance to enter, I was like, we're going.
Yes,
like,
we're going.
Yeah, we're going.
I don't care what happens, we are getting there.
Yeah. So because the rider I was working for, he was going. So I was like, yeah, like I'm going. Yeah. So yeah, I got there and I remember driving into the lorry park and I just said out loud, I was like, this isn't for me. Like, I feel totally out of place. Like, what gives me the right to be competing here? This is amazing. Like, there's so many good riders here and I'm just turning up to do the open novice on my novice horse. He'd been going quite well, actually. So, but I just felt like a massive imposter. Like, I shouldn't be here. You know, the big screens. I knew the crowds were there because they always come out for Gatcombe. And we got there and it was a really, really good day because we went on the Saturday and I was grooming. So I knew I'd walked the course the day before, like, you know, kind of soaked in the atmosphere and did my dressage test. Harry Mead said hello to me as I was trying past. He was like, good luck. And I was like, thanks, gonna need it. Following you in.
Yeah, how rude.
Yeah. So went in, but it was a real championship feel because they had all the banners out and they were announcing our name as we were riding into the arena and I was like, oh no, please don't announce who I am.
Yeah.
Like,
you've got it wrong. Yeah. It's not Martha Haring.
It's not me heading in next. I was like, oh, this is going to be a disaster. So we go in for the test and it goes as well as it could have done. But there was like in the top arena, there was like a water trough and it had broken and it was like water was flying everywhere. So my horse wouldn't go in the corner. And I was like, this is going to be a disastrous score. This is going to be terrible. And I was walking out the arena and everyone was clapping for me because I had a really big fan base because it was so local. Everyone I knew, my mum was like, come on, Martha's at Gatcombe, like, in the open novice. So everyone was clapping. I was like, oh, that's terrible. Then we got a 34.5, so happy with that. Went down to show jumping. And again, I was like, I can't believe I'm here. Like, this is absolutely amazing. And he had 2 down, which, I mean, he'd been going double clear, so I was a bit annoyed to have 2. But again, just happy to be there.
Yeah.
You know, go cross country, didn't embarrass ourselves in the dressage. And then, went cross country and jumped the first fence at Gatcombe is actually away from the crowds and the trade stand. So you jump the first and it's all quiet and you go down the hill. And then I came out at fence 4, which is the wall. And I just heard people shouting like, good luck, Martha, like, go Martha, you look amazing. I'm like, this is great. And then just people clapping and cheering and you feel the atmosphere and it's like, I've never felt that atmosphere before. And I was looking back now, I'm like, that was absolutely incredible. And he jumped everything perfectly. Like we went clear. I think I got 1.2 time. It's the quickest I've ever gone. Still had time faults, but I went pretty quick for me. And it was just an amazing, like to ride with crowds like that is incredible. And to have everyone there that knew me, like, because it was so local, it's just the most amazing experience ever. And then, so then the next year I'd entered again, but it got cancelled because of the weather. Yeah. They ran a few phases, but then no one made it to cross country because it was so bad.
Yeah, it just deluged, didn't it?
Yeah. And then it's not ran again since. So, but that was my best event. It was amazing, and I've not topped it, and it was 2 years ago. I'm never going to top that.
I think it's probably because it was so local, and there was quite a lot attached to it in terms of
exactly.
You've been there since you were a small.
Yeah, and I didn't even do well. I think I came 13th.
Yeah,
I was
but
30.
it wasn't actually about.
It wasn't about that, and it was just the most amazing experience.
I think that's a bit like when I was younger, we'd always go and fed, like from about the age of 3 or 4, like we'd fence at Skipton horse trials,
Right.
and because that was our local one. So then, like the first year that I rode there, it felt like to me I was riding at badminton, because that's what I'd, from a young age, you're like, oh my God, one day I could ride around this, and you also probably think, no, it's never going to happen.
And
But then if it does, you're like, wow, good me.
Oh, this is good.
Going around the B90 kind of thing. But
Yeah, no, it felt amazing. So yeah. Anyway, what was your best event?
I don't know. Sorry, I feel like it's quite hard. Well, it's tricky because I think my best event / best result.
Yeah, would you go off best result?
I do. Yeah, I think it would probably be different because I think my best event or biggest achievement, should we say, was winning the 100 3-day at Bicton. I went there on a horse that I'd had for a little while, and he had produced some really consistent 100 results. He was always very low in his dressage. So I went there, but I actually went there with him for sale. So it was a bit like bittersweet because I knew that he was going afterwards. But also that's just, I produced him and I could make quite a bit of money on him. So it was a sensible decision to make. So he went there, he led the dressage, and it was with the roads and tracks and steeplechase and stuff. So it was a bit of a new experience. He got 3.2 cross-country time, something. So he actually dropped to 3rd after cross-country, but then went clear show jumping and won it. So that was, for me, that was like a really good result. And I remember afterwards it was like, can we come and interview you and all of that? But it was coming out of COVID. So there was no crowds. There wasn't even a mounted presentation. I've got a photo of me stood there with my rosette and sash and bucket with a mask on, like in the arena. And it was a bit like, looking back now, it's a bit of a shame because it was, obviously I'm so glad that we went and did it and we could go and do it in times that were so uncertain and stuff. But I actually remember like people were gathering to watch the show jumping, and because they were kind of saying to people like, please don't watch, because they didn't want photos with crowds in the background because it was COVID and we weren't meant to be social distancing and stuff. So that was probably my best result, but also if that happened a year later, it might have felt quite different. So yeah, I don't really know. I think best event would probably be the Corinthian Cup.
So you won the one I wanted to compete at?
No, I didn't win it. I came second.
Oh, okay.
But it wasn't at Gatcombe, so that was also the bit of disappointment.
Yeah.
It went to Bergem. So I had a horse that I took there, and I'd only done a couple of novices on him, and we'd managed to qualify. I went there completely unexpecting of what might be, and he went and did a 28 double clear and came second, and he gave me the most fantastic cross country round. And I actually, the footage was on Horse and Country, and that was probably the first time I'd ever had something like that. And I remember we're just watching it back and seeing your name come up at the bottom and stuff. And he was quite a difficult little horse. And he was a bit of a swine. So to manage to just get through. It was also, I'd gone with Jan. Jan had a few there. So we were there for like 5 days, and I didn't compete till the Sunday. Oh. And he was getting like worse and worse. And I was thinking like, I just put him back on the lorry.
Yeah, let's go home.
So yeah, he'd been there like 4 days before he did his dressage. But no, that was a really special thing. And again, it was just like, I was like, okay, things can go okay and stuff. And then, as usual, the next 5 events are dreadful. It was like, I think I actually went to that, and then I literally went to Kelsall a couple of weeks later and got eliminated in the show jumping on him.
Fair enough.
And I was like, yep, humbled, back to reality.
Yeah, come on, can't win them all.
Yeah, so that was that. But I think that was probably. But I do wish it had been at Gatcombe.
Yeah, I can't lie. Gatcombe is the most amazing feeling to ride around. And I think if anyone ever gets the opportunity to compete there, and I really hope they bring it back, I really do, because it's really, really special. Really special. Like, just even as a spectator, it's a lovely event.
Yeah.
And Princess Anne is always around.
There we go.
You might bump into her. It's really special. And the whole team are just brilliant.
Yeah.
So it's a shame.
Is that like, because for me, I really like my real one I want to compete at is Bramham. Would you say, because that's like from when I've been little, would you say Gatcombe was that for you? Or is there anywhere else that you're like, I really want to compete?
No, it was always Gatcombe.
Okay.
I've done it now. So
Right,
I give up now. I've done it, done that. No, but
no, you've got to go back and do the 4-star.
Oh yeah, true. Get around the advanced championships. Just the feeling you get there, just I can't describe it. It meant everything. Because I remember when I was younger, we were actually school collecting there as well on my pony, and Princess Anne comes up and she's like, "Would you like a biscuit?" Because it was I think it was raining. "Would you like a pink wafer?" And I turned it down, and my mum was looking at me like, "Take the biscuit." And I was like, "No, I'm okay, thank you." So then to actually ride around there and the competition myself was amazing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But anyway, we've done the best. So let's go to the worst.
Worst.
Yeah, I feel like yours might be quite funny. So
Which one?
do you want to tell us one of the worst?
One of the worst. I feel like we both said our first event. It can't have got much worse from that, can it?
Have we done? Yeah.
Yeah, we did our first events. Neither of them were successful, but I've definitely got a worst event, which is actually very funny to look back on now, mainly because of how naive I was going into it.
Yeah.
So it was on my 14-2. Merlin, he was called, and I'd done a couple of hundreds at the back end of one season, and I was like, we are qualified for pony trials. You know, I would have been 15 at the time. Again, I just like to say, non-horsey parents that weren't like, this is a terrible idea. My mum was always so supportive, and she's like, yeah, we'll go there. Probably didn't even know what class I was entering, kind of thing.
You just told her the time of the day that she needed to get you there.
Yeah, and she's like, yeah, that's great, which I was very, very fortunate about. So yeah, I've done 200s, and then I think that it's a good idea to go out and do my first ever novice at the first event of the season on my pony.
Well, why not?
Why not? The confidence. I think he got 44 dressage. So, you know, strong start.
Sub 50, we like that.
Yeah, 50. But don't worry, it was matched with a 48 in the show jumping.
They let you continue.
Yeah. I think he got about 4 down, 2 stops, and a load of time faults. So, but it's okay because I'd really proved myself that I was ready for the cross country.
It was safe to
It was really safe. Yeah, I was ready. So off we go. I'm just there kicking away. And to be fair to him, he was absolutely brilliant. Like the poor guy, I was probably missing left, right, and centre these tables. And
They're
things.
quite big when you get to novice level.
Yeah, on a 14-2.
Yeah, I imagine.
So yeah, it was going. I was going to say it was going well. It really wasn't. We were getting round, and then I think he had enough. At the blooming chicana. It was the chicana again.
Should have missed it.
I should have missed it, and yeah, we both ended up in the chicana.
What fence number was this?
It was quite near the end of the course.
So you got most of the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that our day ended at the Osby Chicana. So
Have you jumped it since?
I have jumped it since.
Cool.
Yeah.
Buried those demons.
Yeah, I was, much more prepared the next time. But then I think the best irony of this was the fact that I went to Lincoln Pony Trial the next week. Like, yeah, sure.
You carried on.
I kept going.
Did that one go any better?
No, I got eliminated at fence 2. I think the pony was like, absolutely not, about 4 strides out from fence 2. It was like, no.
Said, this is the safety of both
Yeah.
of us.
Yeah.
I'm stopping.
Very wise, Merlin. And after that, I stepped back down to B100.
Good plan.
Yeah, and had a very good season.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he was an absolute 100 machine, and we had a fab time. But yeah, you probably learned the hard way at 15.
I mean, but you only learn if you make mistakes.
Exactly.
And that was one you made.
I mean, to be honest, 15-year-old Katie would probably have my 7-year-old going to Bramham this year. with the confidence that I had back then.
Me too.
As in now, I'm like, you need to do at least 15 B100s before we can think about a 105.
Yeah, the 105.
Thank God for 105s. Imagine the step up.
It would be way too high.
Yeah. So yeah, that was probably my lesser finest moments. What about you?
I mean, to be fair, there's not one that jumps out as being, yeah, that was horrendous. Because, you know, I'm kind of consistent here. So the results are never amazing, but we're consistently average. So there's not one
That's good. We aim for consistency.
Yeah, we're consistent. So there's nothing that stands out as being like, that was a really, really terrible day. But there is one, and it was back in 2022 with Jeannie, my novice horse, and we've been to Gatcombe. It was the first event after Gatcombe, so it all, you know, Gatcombe was a pretty tough cross country, and the show jumping was big, and the dressage had a massive atmosphere with lots of banners. And we go to Wellington, and I think we had 6 on the lorry because I was grooming at the same time. And I think I was one of the last to go because I was in the novice, and they did the 100s first, and I was last in the novice. And the dressage, they just had one banner, like by the dressage, like a sponsor's banner. And I literally reversed into the judge's car as I was trotting around the arena. So it really set the tone for...
And they've already like, I do not like this right now.
No, and I'm in my head, I'm like, we literally were at Gatcombe last week, and it had, you know, we had a lot of banners. Why is this one banner the problem? Anyway, so dressage, the theme for the dressage carries on. Like, it was really horrific. I don't think we actually got into the corner where the banner was. Went on the wrong leg in canter. We got a 44. I go back to the lorry. I'm like,
sub 50.
Sub 50, so we'll take it. Go back to the lorry, and I think I'm in my head, I'm like, it's 5:30 already. I've been up really since, you know, very early this morning. The horse has been on the lorry all day. I don't want to carry on. I think I said to the rider I was waiting for at the time, I don't want to do it. Like, can I, you know, I've got 44. I'm not going to be competitive. I never am competitive, but that was what I was using to get out of doing it. And rightly so, the rider was like, no, you're not going to learn if you don't compete. So I was like, yeah, fair. You know, that's cool. So I went into the show jump in, and my horse had been jumping double clears all season. And I go in and, I mess up the strides. I think it's because I was worried where my mum was, because she'd come to watch that event and hadn't seen her in a while. And I was like, well, you know, she's videoing, where is she? She needs to video this. So my mind was completely not even with it, because I was too busy wondering where mum was. And anyway, she was in the rooftop bar on the, you know, like the double-decker minibus.
Exactly what you
I'm cantering around, and I'm like, so I'm like, video. So,
need it for the Instagram.
Yeah, because I've got a really good dressage. And the horse before me had just got eliminated at fence 1. So I'm like, right, I'm on a good jumper. I'll get over fence 1. Anyway, I get over fence 1, and I'm like, yeah, solid. And then I come round, and I put like 3 strides and a 2-strided double, and it's an oxer out. So we clip the back rail. So then my next approach is to full send it into an upright. And the horse is like, no, have that one down. So I come out, and I'm like, oh, great. Like, you know, what's 44 plus 8? Like, I'm on a pretty high score at the minute. So I'm like, get back to the lorry, and like, I don't want to go cross country. Like, my mind is not in it. Like, you know, I haven't been in the right mindset all day. But again, I'm like, pull yourself together. You've paid a lot of money to be here. Get in the cross country. So I go down to the cross country warm up, and on the tannoy, they're like, the water jump has been taken out. The water jump is no longer running. And I'm like, oh, okay, I don't have to jump the water jump. You know, my horse isn't very good with water jumps anyway. So I'm like, okay. You know,
the win is back on.
I might win this one. I'm like, oh, really? That's really odd. But I said to the girl I was working with at the time, I said, oh, they've taken the water out, because I think a rider had damaged it. So, the jump's not in the water. So I was like, cool, no water jump. Anyway, get round. Wellington's a pretty tough cross-country track anyway. Well, you know, probably a bit easier than Gatcombe, but there was a really tricky coffin at fence 7, and that was catching a lot of riders out. My horse jumps absolutely beautifully through there. So anyway, we get to the water fence, and I'm approaching the water, and I'm like, the jump's in there. The jump's still there. Like, they've not flagged this jump out, and there's a fence judge, and I was like, do you think I can stop and ask him if the jump is in it? No, why have they not taken this fence out? So I approach it, and I'm like, maybe from a different angle, I can see that the fence is taken out. But to get through the water, you had to jump the fence. Like, there was no going round. And I'm like, what do I do? That apparently have to jump it now. So I get there, like a few strides out, and then I'm like, oh no, I need to jump this. So I'm like, my horse has already gone. Yeah, what do you want me to do? And I'm there, and I'm like, come on, no, we're jumping this. Whereas I would, because he was a bit funny with water, I would have been screaming a lot further away. But because I couldn't see until I got to the fence, it was that. Anyway, long story short, horse like kind of half jumps it. I topple off the front. I land the other side of the fence.
Are you in the water?
Yeah. But it wasn't, and the photographer was there, so I got up and I'm like, right, okay, great. I've just been eliminated on my really good cross-country horse, but it's fine. The photographer's here. They're going to get a good photo of me smashing through this fence. So anyway, long story short, the photographer got an absolutely awful photo. I'm basically stood up in the water at this point. So anyway, no good photo of me falling off. Get back to the lorry. So then I say to Ryder and Wonderful, like, the water jump is in. Like, we have to jump it. Yeah. And anyway, they go round. And next thing I know on the tannoy is they've fallen off at the water. The same fence as me. So we both stacked it at the same fence. And I think the problem is that the pony club class, like bloody pony club, was running the class, literally the section before I was running. And it followed the same sort of course, or it didn't, I don't know. But their tannoy guy had said the fence was out for the pony club.
Right, yeah.
I hadn't heard the pony club bit. So I think all of us, to be fair, I think a lot of us were in the same boat. Anyway, it wasn't.
Fair, I think we were there, like, yeah.
Were you?
Yeah, I think I could picture.
Oh, you probably saw me.
Yeah, probably saw you stacking it.
Yeah, that's not how you do it.
Walking the course and Jan's like, ooh, who's that? Hope she never works for me.
Not associated with her.
Yeah. No, I don't remember.
No, so that it on paper, like, that was my, and that's the time I've been eliminated cross country.
Yeah. Stacking
it in the water. So it was a very quiet lorry journey home.
Damp lorry journey home.
Damp lorry journey home. But apart from that, no, not that one. Yeah.
Well, hopefully we will not be doing any swimming.
Oh, don't. Tommy's good with water, to be fair. Yeah. But anyway, if we do, we've got to make the best out of a bad situation.
Yeah, and to be fair, we always do. We just laugh about it. And
and it's funny now to look back
exactly.
on.
This is the thing. Like, I mean, I probably thought my whole world was like crashing down because in my head I was up here. I was thing. But now I'm literally just laughing at myself. I'm like, what was I thinking?
Yeah. And actually, falling off at Wellington, I actually learned a lot from doing that, which I hadn't have done if I hadn't have done it. So actually, it was the right advice. Yeah. Even though I didn't want to do it, it was the right advice to be like, you're not going to learn anything if you don't do it. Yeah. So I did learn that my horse does need a lot of encouragement in water because he's not going to go.
And you need to get in the right mindset.
And I need to get in the right mindset. So actually, it was a big, it was a learning curve, whatever. Yeah. So
no, exactly. Well, hopefully that is what Osberton will be.
Yeah.
And we look forward to sharing it with everyone, how it goes.
Yes.
And even more, luckily for everyone, we've actually organised some video work with Lucy Lord Photography, who is going to be capturing. We are quite nervous.
Yes.
So not only will we be able to hear about what a disaster it is, you'll be able to see it as well.
Yes, exactly. And I know that the quality of the videography will be expert. So you'll be able to see everything unfolding.
I'm actually most nervous about Jan watching it because she's gonna usually my mum's videoing and she doesn't zoom in, so you can't see that I'm actually completely out of balance, pulling on one rein, all of this because I'm just this little dot in the distance, and I'm like, oh, not looking too bad.
It looks okay.
I don't want a full close up. Like, oh god.
She'd be like, Martha, your girth isn't done up again. Oh no. That's why my saddle was slipping.
Absolute amateurs. So that's where we're at, and we look forward to sharing.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Hopefully also just showing that it's the good, the bad, and the ugly. Like, we will share it, and
especially on young horses. It's not going to go to plan, but it's either way. It's educational. A good day, a bad day. You're always learning. So, not to waste the entry fee. Yeah, we will be going cross country if we obviously go.
If we get
which we should.
Yeah.
So, what would, as a groom, what would you say was your best event so far in your career?
Probably Blenheim, for short. We took one in the 8 and 9 year olds, and that was my first big one, and it felt like a big one. Like, we got there and then there was like a cocktail party in the house on the first night, and I was like, oh god, I shouldn't be
out
here.
of the comfort zone.
Yeah, literally, I just sleep in the lorry.
Do we have to go?
Yeah, so no, and I mean, it was amazing, but to me, like even just being, that's the kind of house that I go and like look at somewhere abroad on holiday. I go and look around, and stuff. And mainly just for me, actually, was being with like we got into the stables, and we were opposite Ros. And I thought, oh, fantastic, because Sarah's been with Ros a long time. Like I've got someone I can ask lots of questions to and stuff. Like I felt really out of my depth. Not necessarily, I knew what I was doing as a groom. I have been a groom for long enough, but it was just a different feel.
Yeah.
And stuff. But everyone is so friendly, and everyone helps each other out and all of that and stuff. But we just had a great time. We took a horse that we'd had for a little while, and Dan had produced him, and he was only 8, and it was his first 4-star. So it was quite a big ask to send him to the 8 and 9 year old championships. And he went double clear. So, you know, it was a really good result. And then we were home for 24 hours, and then we went off to Ballindennis with a different one.
So it's busy.
Yeah, and we'd been at Cornbury the week before.
Nice.
So it was all a bit of a whirlwind. Cornbury's lovely to groom at. I do really enjoy that because they really look after the grooms, owners, riders and stuff. But I think in terms of feel, Blenheim would have been the big one for me. What about you?
Yeah, I can agree with Blenheim because, I think I was there that year as well, but I was kind of shadowing the girl I was working with at the time. So she was there all week because they had a horse in the forlong.
Right, okay.
And I came up on cross country day just as like an extra pair of hands to help after cross country. And I had a really nice feeling to it. I wouldn't say it would be my favourite event to groom at so far because I was only there for like one day.
Yes.
So I didn't really get the whole buzz, but it was a really nice event to be at. My favourite event to groom, like my favourite grooming experience probably was when I was on work experience. I think I was 17 at the time, and I did 2 weeks with Lissa Green, and she was in I was there when they were going to Barbary, so I got taken, and it was my first ever experience of grooming. And I just remember being at Barbary and I was like, this is amazing. Yeah. I think because it's the first, I'd never been to like a big competition, never been to like a British event before. So when I got to go groom at Barbary, I was like, this is really special. Yeah. So I think that was my first taste of grooming, and that would be one of my favourite events to groom at. And it was, that was ages ago, but like the feeling you get. I always get a buzz from being at the big ones.
Yeah, I think when you just pull in the lorry park and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you have a standout worst?
Oh, no, like
that's quite good.
I mean, there's not one I go look at and be like, that was a really I mean, like sometimes it's hard when it's raining. Like I've had my phone broken before.
Yeah.
I think we were at Farley and we had 4, and my phone, it was absolutely chucking it down, and I got soaked through because I was trying to pack everything up and it was raining. I just got absolutely soaked, and my phone was in my back pocket and got water damage and my phone broke. So that would, in terms of like. Getting drenched, that would be the worst, but I don't really have anything that stands out that I'm like, that was a really, really bad day. Yeah, what about you? What would be your worst?
Tweezledam.
I think I know what's coming.
Nothing to do with the event. Lovely event, just the fact it's 6 hours away and we had an 8 o'clock dressage. So we actually didn't go to bed. We fed at midnight.
Oh, nice.
And then, long story short, we were basically first to dressage and last to finish. So we were back at after midnight the next day. So I was like, I've had a 24-hour day at Tweezledam.
Lovely.
And my horse went like crap. Luckily, Jan's all went really well.
Good.
Jan had like 2 firsts, a second and a third. So, I mean, that was fine. I did not have that. And I thought, you know what, I wish I'd just left her on the lorry. It would have been better.
It would have been easier.
But no, it was a great event and kind of thing. But yeah, I think I was actually just a bit traumatised. It's not even that's the bad bit. It's that night, then having about 3 hours sleep, getting up the next day and then working a normal day. And it takes like until you've got a day off to recover.
Yeah.
You've basically missed a night's sleep. So Jan did actually mention the possibility of Tweezledam in a couple of weeks' time, and I was literally like, felt my stomach flip.
Yeah, we've managed to alter that.
Yeah, so I've done some persuading, and we are not going there. So that is good news. But yeah, no disrespect to the event, but yeah,
not a good day.
It's a long way for us.
Yeah,
it's a very long way.
Yeah. I know, but before coming here, I think the earliest I had to get up was 2:30, and I thought that was bad. I was like, 2:30 wake up, because I'm very lucky where I've been based, like in the southwest. We're close to a lot. Like, you don't have to travel more than 2 hours to go. You could do a whole season of 2 hours, essentially. And I mean, up here, you've got
we
lots
are.
up here
We
as
are
well.
based up here.
But I think my earliest start was 2:30, and I remember thinking, oh, that's a bit rough. And then we got back at 8 p.m, and I was like, oh, that's a bit rough. But actually, that's fine.
Yeah, no, I think the first event I did here was Lannyminnock, and I got up at 3 and got back at 8, and I was like, oh my God, what a day.
What a day.
Now I'm like, wow, that's dreamy. But no, that is the nature of the job, and I love it. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's something so special about event grooming, and that's, it's what we both love. Like, the fact that there's not anything that stands out as being like a really bad day for us is a good thing.
Yes.
Because it's always watching horses compete and getting off the yard and the atmosphere and seeing other riders and other horses. It's always a nice day.
Yeah.
So I never don't enjoy going out and doing it.
That's all.
Yeah. So that's good. So hopefully in a couple of weeks' time, a week's time, Osberton will go okay.
Yeah.
And we'll be back to share it.
Yes, we will indeed. So and just thank you to our listeners for tuning in. The support we've had has been really nice. Hopefully we're starting to sound a little less nervous, but I'm not sure. I think we still feel it.
Yeah, slightly. If it's not obvious.
If it's not obvious. Thank you to Henry James for coming on board and supporting us too.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and we'll see you next week.
Yes, we've got some guests lined up, so keep
listening.
Keep
yeah,
listening.
We've got some better people than just us to talk about this coming soon. So
coming soon.
we're excited to share that with you.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you.